All right. Hopefully my mic is working okay. Just gotta get the settings dialed in. All right. Good morning. Good morning. How's my mic sound? Can you hear me? I'm using a new mic, so cool. All right. Well, we're back at it. Was sick all last week, so I didn't really stream. I did trade a bit. Uh, Ended up passing one of my Lucid evals, making some good progress on the take profit evals. So that was good. That was good. We got a fresh funded with Lucid. Didn't take any trades on it. My other funded with Lucid is above its buffer now. So now we're just working our way to a payout on that one. Um, but yeah, I got this new indicator. It's the Stoic Edge levels. It just shows pretty much what I was marking up manually, like previous day close, low, highest close a month, lowest close a month, the previous high and lowest close a month, and then previous weekly high, previous weekly low. So something that's easy that I don't have to do manually every day. It just updates on its own. You can see this trade over here is a paper trade that I was just messing around with last night, but I did put a fib geometry setup just on a higher time frame, 15-minute chart, and we ended up hitting the 2618, about 30 minutes ago. I drew it. Technically, you would have entered about 12 hours ago, but that still worked out. So, I mean, I didn't take it on a real account or like an eval or anything. But here we are this morning, kind of consolidated in the Asia range most of the night and the London range, and then we broke out of it. I do think we want to come up and test this previous weekly low. If we want to see any more downside, we should come up and test that. I know we got pretty close to it. Got about 70 points away from it. You can see here on the 4 hour, we came down last Friday, dipped below the 200 simple moving average, and then when we opened up yesterday, we pushed back up, consolidated, and we're pushing back up again. We got about 20 minutes left on this 4-hour candle. So let's see what it does here. My bias today, initially is upside. I think we want to see a retest before coming back down to go any lower. With the low target being this May lowest close a month. We may want to come down and test this London low, which is right around that area. Let me right around 29,080. Quite a bit ways lower, but Nasdaq will, it'll surprise you. The 15-minute, we do have the 20 SMA down here at like 345. So we could see, move down, test this, come back up to the previous weekly low. But we're going to be patient here. It's Monday. Oh. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We got oil dipping. VIX is kind of hanging out. YM doing its usual. RTY going down. ES going down. Nasdaq looks like the strongest out of the bunch today, surprisingly. Okay, so we see this here. This kind of tells me that we may want to see higher prices now, just with how we've held here. You see that wick, top wick, we came back down, but now we're pushing back up. So I'd want to see a push back up above this 500 level. Could put some risk on here. We could wait, see if we get this fib geometry setup to play out. I might enter with one contract on an eval, just as a starter position. We'll do stop down at, that's a big stop. So this is what the position looks like. I entered at 502. I'm going to put my stop right there at that low. Okay, we're above that 100%, so let's get this fib going. Might enter this on my funded as well, just because it is a good, fib geometry setup here. That entry would be 490. I'm gonna put it on my my funded account as well. I have a limit order sitting at the 50% of my funded. Oh, come on. They got so close to tapping me in. 3 points away.
Order filled.
All right, I'm in on my funded account now, risking about 70 points here. For my funded, I'm going to set my take profit up here at the high of the New York opening range, 585. Oh, wait, yeah, 585. Just so y'all can see, this is what it looks like on the funded. You'll have to excuse me if you hear me sniffling. I'm still getting over this little sickness that I had, so my bad if I'm Mr. Sniffles today. Take profit on the eval is going to be up at 672, but I don't even think I need that much to pass the account, so we'll see. All right, we're going to go ahead and take this off on the funded. That's $100 right there on the funded account. You know, I set my trades. I want to see them play out, but on my funded accounts, if I can make $100 on a trade, I'll take it all day. You know, I'm playing those super safe. I mean, that was 47 points for $106 in profit. I just got to do that, you know, like a couple more times and we'll be good for a payout. So take your profit when you see it, especially on the funded accounts. Let your trade setups play out on the evals. Get that, you know, confidence, that conviction. I'm about $40 away from passing this eval, so let's see if we can get a nice little push up here, get this extra, you know, get this extra profit that we need. We got the 15-minute opening range set. I'll go ahead and put the lines on the chart just for visuals. This indicator plots out the 30-minute opening range. So, you know, if we stay within this range, it's going to be the same as the 15-minute. Coming back down here. You can see on the 5-minute we pushed up through that 20 simple moving average. We came back down, retested it. So, you know, this is a good invalidation point down here if we want to go lower and it just blows through this, you know, bullish candle and I get stopped out. That's okay with me. We should see, you know, a bit of a push up here though. It's Monday, so anything can happen, but risking about $160 on this trade. On the eval, if we lose, no sweat. We'll get it back on the next trade. Not, you know, not mad that I took the $100 on my funded. That's the name of the game here is get your money and get out. All right, we are approaching the stop loss here. We could see it come down and test this 200 SMA. So, you know, we could move our stop down, but I don't want to do that. And if I get stopped out and then we start pushing back up, I can always re-enter the trade. But, you know, it's 20 points, but this is a setup. If it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. You can see here that tap in at the 50% up to where I took profit. That, I mean, you know, I got 47 points out of it, but that was overall 65 points. So if you're a scalper, it's a good move. ES is looking weak. We got the moving averages on the 1 minute about a cross to the downside. On ES it retested the 20 SMA and it just failed. Rejected hard. We are coming back below the 20 SMA on the 5 minute, but I do want to see if we can get some support here to push back up. These two wicks, not really giving me confidence in this trade, but we're in it, so we're not going to cut it early. We're going to let it ride. Man, I do want to move my stop because it's, we're below that. That's right below the 200 SMA if I moved it down here. But again, I think if we break to the downside, we're going to break hard and continue. So I'm going to leave my stop where it's at. All right, that's a nice push up. That's a nice push up. Let's see some follow through here, Bulls. We're right at that 20 SMA though. That's a solid rejection point for it to, push lower. But if we can hold this candle, this bullish candle, and then close back above these two wicks, I think, where my take profit is at the previous weekly low, I think that's a good area to target. We got about 2 minutes 45 seconds for this 5 minute candle to close. What's ES doing? ES is trying to find some support as well. Oh, goodness. You can see VIX is, climbing down, stair stepping down. So that's a good sign that if volatility is decreasing, those are VIX and NQ are usually inverse of each other. Same with oil and NQ. So VIX moving down, we want to see oil move down, and then we want to see NQ push up from here. All right, we're back in profit. Getting about 80 bucks away from passing this account. All right, NQ, let's see some strength here. Let's get over these wicks like I was just talking about. Let's get over that wick. We got 22 seconds. If we don't close above these wicks, that's okay. I want to see us at least close above the 20, SMA here for that next candle to open up and then provide a solid push over these wicks, but that was a nasty rejection. Just close over the 20, man. All right, we close over the 20, barely. See how we react here. You can see these three wicks, like they didn't sweep each other, right? This wick did sweep that wick. So looks like buyers are trying to gain control here. We're still just kind of in this, 15, 30-minute opening range. However you want to look at it. Either way, the blue box, that's the 30-minute opening range. The blue lines are the 15. Looks like they're going to match up perfectly today. Don't like that. Oil's pushing back up. Look at that rejection. Look at that rejection. Yeah, looks like we're going to go down. We didn't clear this high. We're almost at that low to make a lower low. We're just playing around in this range. Yeah, those down wicks, looks like we want to send this lower. So if we get stopped out of this trade, that's okay. I'll readjust. And we're stopped.
Filled.
As you heard, we're stopped out. That was on the L. We were in profit, we were in profit a decent amount, but that's okay. So from here, I'd be looking to see a break and retest of this 15-minute opening range low. Push down to that, 240 area. We got the 20 SMA on the 15, right around 360. Man, that was a nasty rejection. Where are we at on the hourly? Yeah, so we're probably going to see some downside here. If anything, we'll get in on a on a retest of this 15-minute opening range low. Look at that rejection, man. That's crazy. You can see the box moving now. See how the box is adjusting itself? That's for the 30-minute opening range low. All right, since we took a L on the first eval, I'm going to switch to a different one to take this next trade. Just to, not rapid fire one account, get multiple losses right away. Do want to see a retest of that low there at 397. Stop would be somewhere up here, targeting the London opening range high. Man, look at VIX. Isn't that crazy? It's Monday. Good old Mondays. Kind of got a retest of that opening range low, yeah. It came within a couple points of it. If anything, I might take, yeah, I'm going to get a quick short here. This is looking super weak. I'm going to put my stop right above the 15-minute opening range low there. Right at like 405. If I get stopped out quick, that's just a quick little, damn, that was a terrible entry. Target's going to be 250. Yeah, that entry was not good. 337. So a bit of a wide stop here. And as we've seen with NQ, you know, shorts are like short-lived, no pun intended. Uh, you know, you get your money in a short. Disregard Friday, that was, you know, obviously a big sell-off. You can't trust your shorts though in this market. So I know this is a bit of a wide stop, but I do want to use the 15-minute opening range lows as a validation point. From there, if we get stopped out, we'll readjust and see, you know, how we're going to proceed from there. You can see here on the 15-minute, we came down to that 20 SMA, trying to find some support. So, like we've seen countless times, NASDAQ likes to go lower. Okay, stopped out. Minus 130 on that account. NQ likes to tease lower, and then it's gonna, you know, reverse the whole range. So we'll see what it does. If we get a retest of the low to go higher, we'll play that. You know, we'll play that game. This is just this is pretty crazy here. Right, like this big bearish candle, like we're just gonna sweep the low and then retrace that whole move. Like sellers are just not non-existent. It's okay. There's that retest into the 15-minute opening range. If we reject from here, and it's a Monday for sure. Looks like they want to send this thing back up though. Yep. The 4-hour close. Look at that down wick on the 4-hour. That's crazy. Moving average look like they want to cross to the downside on the 1 minute. Oh. I'm gonna try another short here.
Order filled.
Using this 15-minute as like a reference. 73, terrible entry. Well, not terrible, not terrible. That's my stop. 250 is the take profit. So if this one loses, then I'm going to call it good on these evals, and I'll go over to my Lucid eval that I got. But don't want to, you know, rapid fire losses on one eval. So we'll try this short again. If they hold here, this low right here at you know, 332 would be a good area to risk along with your stop below that. But We'll see. As much as I don't want to predict where the market's going to go, I like to react. It's kind of hard not to try to predict, but this is what I'm reacting off of now is this double rejection of the 200 SMA. They're crossing to the downside. We couldn't push back into the 15-minute opening range and hold. So, I have my thesis in place, but the market can do whatever it wants. The market can just go all the way up in the next two candles. It can be up here. Why is that? All right. We got that set. If we hold this low and make a higher high, that's why my stop's right there. If we make a higher high, then we're going higher. But as you can see, we're trying to hold. Looks like it wants to. Moving averages are kissing. And yeah, the market's doing its thing. The market is doing a Monday thing. You really can't make it up. Why do I say, yeah, it could be up here in the next two candles. It looks like it wants to, so this is what it is. And stopped out. Lovely. Fucking NASDAQ, man. Is it just gonna poke us out and then go back down? All right, well, we could draw another Fib Geo set up here. Look at that. It literally stopped us out, and it looks like it wants to reject now. But we did push through that 15-minute opening range low. We might retest to go back up. My original thesis was this previous weekly low. Retest. We are red 170 and 266 on the take profit evals. Green on the funded. That's fine. Moving over to the Lucid eval. Let's see if this fib geometry setup will play out. If it doesn't, I might just be hands off for a little bit because this market is fucking choppy. Look at that. Are you kidding me? 30, like, couple points. So this low should hold. If we want to see higher, we, higher high, lower low. We'll see though. This market is it's a Monday. I know I've said that a couple times, but buyers do look very strong. Like they want to hold this. Hold the line. Okay. That is I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna jump in. I'm gonna wait for this 100%. Get it on the fib geometry setup on the other eval. See, this trade right here could have been prevented. I got in because I'm like, oh, it's gonna continue. That's my emotions. That's the impulse showing right there. That was me anticipating what happened Friday to happen again today. But the market rarely does the same thing twice unless it's faking the bears out and then making new all-time highs. It seems to do that on a regular occurrence. All right, we got this setup playing out. Let's see if we can get an entry. We're going to use that previous weekly low as a target. And then we're going to keep dragging this fib up. Adjusting our entry. So entry right now is at 407. I'm going to put that on my eval. One contract. One micro, not a mini. I'm not like the big dogs yet, but I mean, in the evals that I'm red on, I may take some trades throughout the day just to bring that, that loss down. I don't like to go into it thinking, oh yeah, I can make that whole loss back on one trade. I just want to get, like 75, $100 just to cut the loss down, not to make it all back, but just to limit it. So usually lunchtime, after lunchtime, we get some solid moves, but this first hour from 6:30 to 7:30 is generally where we see all the action. All right, 408. I'm moving my entry up to 408. Pretty big fight going on here. Oil's wanting to go back up. VIX is whatever. Okay. Seeing we could just see another doot back down to the downside. But for right now, I'm playing the fib geometry. So it is what it is. All right. I'm going to start a position on this eval. If we get another, retest of that 50%, cool. I'll add another contract, which seems to be using my entries as resistance points today. So 409. All right, we got the cleaner as the second entry, 409. Let's get this put on. First entry was, of course, at the top, 61. Yeah, I'm getting chopped up too. That's why you cycle accounts. That's why you just let it roll off your shoulders. And then like I said, my take profit evals, I'm down. I'm red on both of those today for right now. That's okay. I'm moving on to a different account. And then if this trade loses on this eval, I'll be hands off for a little bit. And then we'll just wait to see what the market, ends up ultimately deciding to do before getting into any other trades if this one doesn't work out. Which will probably end up happening off stream because I cut the stream around 7:30. Have to go to work. Got pretty close to our second entry there, about 3 points. Big consolidation here, big consolidation. All right, I know my charts look really colorful, got a lot of boxes and stuff, but you can see the label here, New York opening range, 30-minute. Blue lines are the 15-minute opening range. Purple box is the 6:30 to 6 to 7 o'clock candle range. Very key levels, very important areas, and right now we're just in the middle of it. But you know what matters the most is this right here. Let me get this.
Order filled.
You can hear the second order. My second entry just got tapped in. Look at that. You know what matters the most? That's a funded account right there. $100 green on the funded. All right, I gotta get my other stop loss put in place. Damn, this is rejecting tough, man. This is rejecting very, very hard. My stop's a little bit lower than that low. We rejected off that 50% of the hourly opening range. Nice. I'm kind of marrying my bias of wanting to see upside. But you know, from that 473 at the 50% of the hourly opening range to, I mean, that's a 70-point scalp right there, you know. If we close outside of this 15-minute opening range, I may just cut the trade and then just hang out for a little bit. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. Lost 228 on that eval. If this pushes back up and makes me regret getting out of that trade, so be it. But this is just not. This is not good conditions to be trading in right now. We're just gonna sit and wait, let this play out a little bit more. It's gonna do it, isn't it? We retested that 20 SMA on the 15-minute. Lower low. So we do want to see a push higher. All right, we're gonna put one more. We're gonna put another contract on. Just one contract. I'm gonna do a little bit wider of a stop down to the actual low. That way, you know, we give ourselves some room. If I regret this, that's on me. You know, I'm kind of chasing at this point, but it's an eval. Not that that discredits, you know, how I should be, or not that that should say that's how I should be trading an eval is a little reckless, but I want to see this play out to the upside. If I don't get it, this account will be, you know, red. Little red. So I would advise kind of if you're red already on most of your accounts or some of your accounts, just to sit out. I'm being a little bit ambitious here because this does look like it just wants to go down. We retested up into the range. We're closing below it, or we're pushing back down below it. Hey, Mom, Jessica's envelope or invitation is getting returned today. It says no mail receptacle, unable to forward. So I don't know if you or Dad can send her a text and just see where a good place to send that would be. And yeah, for anyone who is watching or watches this at a later time, my mom is my biggest supporter next to my fiance, and she's in the streams every day. So if that makes you upset, you should probably go hug your mom and build a better relationship with her. Yeah, my mom's the whole reason I got into trading. She's, she's been doing this a lot longer than I have, got me into it, and the, foundation I have, the skills are just like the natural, kind of ability to want to read the market, learn how to read the market. All comes from her. This is gross, man. Like, I mean, I know we're clearly in a downtrend, but for right now, after this, yeah, like, what are we doing? All right, let's redraw the 15-minute opening range here on ES. We're flirting with that area too on ES as well. NASDAQ has just rejected that 50%. It looks like it's rejecting the 30%. So what is that? So 70 points. 73. It's just that support, we're finding some support here. I mean, this is just, I don't know why I'm longing here. Looks like it wants to go down. I might get into it on my other take profit eval, the one that I first lost on, with the stop like above that 50%, but I don't want to be in a short and a long, even though it's on two different prop firms, just because that would mess with my psychology quite a bit. Oh. See, and I wouldn't have gotten stopped out on that first trade where I said, "Oh, I'm closing," Excuse the hair. It's a little crazy this morning. So this trade that I have here, this position tool, this is how my chart is set up in the position I'm currently in. So, if anything, I'll just let this ride. Even after I cut the stream, just let it ride to get that 236 points. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, I don't want to show I want to show the red. I'm not trying to hide that. But just, like as a morale thing, we got this sitting here. Yeah, I'll show you the red too. I don't care. Oops. There. We're up about $70 in this position right now. Geez, that is a big. Just real quick. See? So Leave that up there. Okay, well, we made a higher high. We got above that 50%. See, I was wanting to short with the stop right there. Just stay with your idea. You know, my idea is long right now. This is the stop. This is, you know, it's about 200 bucks. Let it ride. And even if I went, you know, to just the 2618, that's still 100. Still, that is 179 points. I'm gonna delete this box. That was just like an old support box that I had. But as you can see, I'm gonna get rid of this one fib geo setup that lost. Leave the position on, but just so that we can see how this 423.6 is kind of lining up with the 200 SMA on the 15-minute. It's good confluence. We bounced off the 20 SMA. I was talking about that this morning when we were up here. Could come down, bounce off that, go up. Previous weekly low is a good happy medium between, you know, that 423 and where we're currently at. You know, it's not too much higher than the pre-market high, which is right around 604. It's about 70 points away. So we retested the 50% of the hour open, the first hourly candles range. Came back down, tested the 15-minute opening range low. Now we're pushing up. We'll probably retest this 30 or 70%. However you look at it, you know, you draw the fib. And you put the levels on there manually. 70% since we went from high to low. We may see a little bit of resistance here, come back down, use that 20 SMA on the 5-minute as support, and then we're going up. Then the next area of resistance would be the 30-minute and 15-minute opening range high. Poke up, retest, and then we're at previous weekly low. This does look very strong though, like it wants to reclaim to the upside. Currently up like 170 bucks in this eval. Again, what's going on here? We'll do a little, see, 178. We are at May's lowest close a month. Could see some resistance, but you see how the moving averages are coming back up to cross to the upside. So this low right here at 372 should be an area where, you know, we shouldn't see price come back down. I am going to move my stop up to the third anchor point of the fib geometry setup of the fib extensions at 350. It's about 20 points higher than where I have it, and that's fine. You know, any amount that you can de-risk is always good, even if it's 20 points. So, you know, that's where the first entry should have been, was down at 411. You know, I like to extend the fib up just to see, okay, well, if, you know, if we come back down here, that may be a good area to add. But we'll leave it here just for education's sake, so, you know, no one gets confused. See, and I'm not upset. I'm green $105 on my funded account on one of them. I followed my plan. You know, I actually got in at where I should have gotten in on the fib geometry setup, and then I took my profit at 100 bucks. What have I not done with the rest of my evals? I have not been patient. I have not let price come to me and, you know, hit my limit order to fill me in and then go along for the ride. I've been getting in early starter positions with the thought that I'm going to add, and that's okay. like for your evals, but it's not something that I like to make a habit of or do constantly with my evals because that just transfers over to your funded accounts. You want to trade your evals the same way you're going to trade your fundeds. Otherwise, like I have an issue with, there's like a mental block there once you get into the funded account. You're scared. You take your profits way too early. I'll admit this $105, that's about $50 more than what I usually take in profits. I usually take about $50 in profit on that funded account specifically. Just because I went into it saying, I'm going to trade this until I get a payout, and I'm going to do small trades, base hits, and if it takes me a year to get a payout, okay. I mean, the math doesn't math with that, saying, oh, it's going to take a year to get a payout, even at $50 a day. But, you got to factor in that you're going to have red days, you're going to lose, you're not going to catch every move. But the whole point of that was, don't use bad habits as on an eval and using the eval as an excuse to trade those bad habits, because that just transfers over to your funded account subconsciously, whether you think you're doing it or not. It does. I'm going to adjust this position tool. I entered at 718, so I'm going to move this over. That is my entry, 434.25. You can see we had some resistance at that 70%. We came back down, we're pushing back up. So ideally, we don't want to see this low here at 480 get violated. But NQ is like some people's uncles on Thanksgiving, and it will violate you. It will. And again, if that joke gets dug up, if I'm ever like a big streamer or anything and someone digs that up, you will hear me say worse. I'm just saying that now. All right, well, it's 7:32. I'm in this long. Like I said, I'm going to let this ride, see how it plays out. I will recap that tomorrow. I may trade my other evals today. I may not, and just focus on work and accept the red. That way I'm, not putting myself into a deeper hole. But yeah, the market's been kind of choppy. It is a Monday. The rest of the week should be a lot better after price settles today, especially with that big sell-off we had Friday. So if you're green, lock that account and don't trade it anymore. If you're red, give yourself one more trade at max, and if you lose, lock it up for the day. Come back tomorrow. Mondays aren't the best days to trade. I know some people don't even trade Mondays. I haven't. There's been Mondays where I don't trade because I'm just like, what the hell is going on? But that's gonna do it for me. We locked up $100 on the funded account. Let me go over to my other evals just to show we're red on those evals. That's gonna happen. I'm not gonna win every single trade. We'll get it back. We still got the whole week, so if you're green, stay green, enjoy the day. If you're red, like I said, just give yourself one more trade and then call it if you have the risk tolerance to do so. But yeah, I'm gonna focus on work for the rest of the day. May take a couple trades, may take a trade or two on the red evals, but that just depends on what we do here in the next like hour or so. But I hope everyone has a good day. I'm glad to be back streaming this week. Was sick last week, regardless of the performance. It's always good to be back on the charts and just chopping it up, talking about price. So hope everyone has a good day and God bless.